It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
It is showtime, folks. Just like that old-timey guy screamed in our faces. Welcome to yet another harrowing installment of the Next Reel Saturday Matinee. And that can only mean one thing. That's right, a bunch of things. 3 members of the beloved and harrowing Next Reel team are about to dive deep on this early Saturday morning. Oh, so early. We're going to chat about news, reviews, new trailers, play a game I designed that will almost certainly not work well, and finally engage in the hotly debated and harrowing Weekly List Challenge. I'm Tommy Metz III, a.k.a. Tommy Handsome, a.k.a. the King of Diminishing Returns, and with me today is a podcaster whose heart and mind is as deep and vast as his first name. Please welcome Ocean Big Action Murff.
Thank you very much for that rousing introduction, and I hope to not disappoint in this episode.
So far, so good. And in this corner, someone who I have been dying to podcast with. This is our first time together, but I can already tell we'll be best friends forever, and we'll probably end up on a rafting trip this summer. Please welcome Krissy. I don't have a nickname for you yet, Lenz.
Well, I endeavor to earn a nickname and to go rafting. All of those things I am excited for and willing to embrace.
You need a podcast name, but also a rafting trip nickname. Those two things have to be separate, because otherwise we'll be very confused.
It gets confusing.
Hi, best friends. How are you guys this week?
So good.
I'm doing
so good.
Doing good, doing well. Just
not convincing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's so horrible. It is sunny here, and so that's just that really just brings me down.
Yep.
I really miss the joys of experiences of rain and snow, and when you can't go outside and do anything. But now that you can go outside, then that means I'm watching less movies and actually spending time in fresh air.
Yeah,
so
gross.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
I don't care for that. Krissy, how about you?
Doing great. It's like spring break time here in the Valley of the Sun. So rather than going outside with all the others, I am staying inside and just watching things.
Perfect. What have you been watching as of late, if you want to share anything?
I have been watching Father Brown.
What?
Obsessively.
What? What is that? This is a show you're making currently?
It is a cozy British mystery that stars Mark Williams, a.k.a. Arthur Weasley, as a priest in a very small village in England. And he, of course, every week solves a murder.
It sounds murder hero-ish. Is it kind of like that show? So it's comforting.
Murder, he absolved of their sins. Yeah.
It was a very catchy title.
It's great.
Where do you watch it on?
I watch it on BritBox through Amazon.
Okay. And is it like a procedural? Like, could anyone just dive in if you want to do it, or do you need to have watched it from the beginning? Oh,
no. Jump in literally at any point. Watch them out of order. It doesn't matter. He's a priest. Small village. What I love about it partially is that people come and go too. So there's all these characters, but you're like, oh, what happened to the adorable young heiress? Oh, she's not here for a couple episodes. Oh, okay. Where's the sort of roguish chauffeur? Oh, he'll be here for the next 3, but then gone for the next 2 after that. So
okay, that's fine. What is the police situation in this town? Why is the priest in charge of crime?
They have one lead investigator and one constable sergeant, and the of course the lead investigator is just so fed up with Father Brown and his constant meddling.
Oh, got it. That sounds.
Does he have a pet dog?
Oh, answer the question.
There's no pet dogs. As far as I know, there are very few pets in the village of Kembleford whatsoever. But of course, the inspector is always like quick to arrest anyone. You're under arrest. You're under arrest. Everyone's under arrest. And Father Brown is always like, well, let's investigate. Like maybe there are clues.
Does he have any kind of Columbo, like, one last thing? Does he have any kind of a phrase that he uses?
I would say it's mostly that when he discovers who the murderer is, before he goes about the business of like turning them in and like, seeing them arrested, he's always like, do you want to ask God for forgiveness? Just real quick.
Oh, that's nice.
I will help you out in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as in like on your way to death row.
Right.
Would you like for me to be your priest?
God will forgive you. The constable will not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. So how... So there's this show has a murder every week. Then
Yeah.
is that correct? So is this a
terrible
it's a small town?
Teeny town. And everything's within 5 minutes of that town. It's like Cabot Cove and Murder, She Wrote. You know, like whenever if they go to a circus and there's a death at the circus is still within the jurisdiction of the one inspector and the one constable. Like they're nowhere they go is like outside of that jurisdiction.
Why do people still live there? The town sounds like a nightmare town. There's one cop, a chauffeur, and everyone's dying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, mostly you're dying. Like you wouldn't want to visit there. Like you can live there and you'll probably be okay. But if you're like, I'm the mayor of a town visiting to see what your town is like.
Oh, is it mostly visitors that are not making it through? Oh, that makes me feel better.
Okay. So it's like an exclusive club. We just kill people we don't like and come here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ocean, what about you?
Yeah.
I know you've been looking straight at the sun or something you said earlier.
Exactly, staring at the sun. Yeah. So from a TV standpoint, I started watching Severance, which is an interesting show.
How is it? That's the one on Apple TV with
it's on Apple TV.
Adam Scott?
And yes,
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Apple TV with Adam Scott. So the premise is great, and I really enjoy that. But here's the thing about the show: it's really slow moving, and it plods along a bit of what it's doing. And what I find that bothers me about it is I'm not really sure if I like this show, but I constantly want to know what happens next. And so I'm still watching this show, even though I don't know if I like it. So then it's almost as if I feel that someone is making me watch it, but I realize that someone is me. And so this is a lot of confusion that goes on in my mind about like, why am I watching this show that I don't know for sure if I like or not, even though the premise is good. And the way each episode ends, the cliffhangers are really good. But as far as movies, the show that I really liked, The After Party. If you haven't seen The After Party, that's on Apple TV as well. The After Party was great.
I'm waiting.
Each episode is very different.
Severance isn't over yet, right?
No, it is not.
My plan is to wait till Severance is over and then try to get a free trial or something and watch both of those shows.
Binge the whole thing.
Because I'm very excited.
Yeah, Severance it is definitely a binge show. Like so we stopped watching it about 4 episodes in, and then just kind of wait so that way when we pick it up again, we can have a couple episodes. Because it is very much at the end of each episode, you do want to know what's going to happen next.
So what is the premise? Like I've seen the ads where his head is open and he's like at a little desk in his brain, but that doesn't give you much of a clue.
What?
Okay, yeah. So
So what did she just say?
there's a little man that lives in his head. No. So the premise of Severance is that the employees of this company have volunteered to undergo a procedure that will sever the memories in their brain, meaning that they will have, when they go to work, basically a ding, for lack of a better term, goes off in their head, and then they have no memories of anything outside of work.
Oh.
They only remember all their memories and everything is just what happens at work. And then when they leave work, they go through another elevator with a ding, and then they have no memories of work. They only have memories of their outside life. And then there's the juxtaposition of, what's going on with their lives with that. And then, there's parts of it, of course, where it's like, is everybody at work truly severed?
Right.
Or some people not? Because you're only severed on a specific floor. So in the building, there are people that aren't severed. But if you go to the floor of where the main characters all work and reside, they are severed. And since you see, especially Adam Scott, the star, in both at work and away from work, there's differences in there's personality, differences in how he acts, his mannerisms, his voice, his talks, everything. It's different. And then also sometimes the characters, this doesn't wreck anything, but some of the characters every now and again will interact with that work together, can interact outside of work, but they don't know each other. Because they only know each other from work. And so they can walk by each other in the street and everything. They have no idea that they work together every day, all day. And because even when you meet your coworkers, you only meet them on the severed floor. Mm-hmm. So you have no frame of reference for them from anything else. And so that's the premise of Severance.
I would be in so much trouble because I would leave my keys. I would leave my phone, and then I would get out of there and be like, did I ever have a phone? Do I own a car? I don't know. Like,
have I never locked anything in my life? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did I ever own a hydro flask? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. No, there's a lot of interesting things about it. And one of the more interesting things that they deal with is like, so one of the characters that is severed while working doesn't want to still work there. And is trying to get out, but can never get out because whenever that character leaves, the other, basically their severed self brings them back to work, and keeps bringing them back. And then some of the other characters were explaining to that one, well, you recognize if you ever quit here, effectively for you, you've died. Because all your entire life and your entire existence is on this floor. So you can't, if you were to quit, you're actually killing yourself.
Wow. Do you know who's behind it? Who created this?
Oh,
it seems like a very Charlie Kaufman sort of
yes, very much so
vibe. But I don't know that that's who it is, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Let's just say it's Charlie Kaufman. I like that. I like that idea. Yeah.
Nice. But it's an interesting story, interesting premise. It's Dan Erickson is the creator.
Oh, I know Dan.
And okay, well, I don't know who Dan is.
I don't either.
So I was going to look up some of the other stuff that Dan Erickson's done.
Yeah,
although it looks like he's known for. Oh, apparently Dan Erickson created Severance, and that is what he's created.
That's what I know him from. Severance.
Yeah, you know him from Severance.
Oh, Dan,
that's what he
Erickson.
created.
Yes, this is the guy from Severance. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, from Severance, and that's about it. So he has his first idea so far is a good one.
Yeah.
There is one thing. Oh, I also don't know how transitions work. There is one thing that I wanted to bring up because Uncle Pete brought it up to me and I thought it was very interesting. Have you guys heard about, Batman broke all the box office records and stuff and it's doing incredibly well. It did extremely well. It did. And why I'm bringing it up is because Ocean and I and Pete did it on the film board recently.
Yeah.
And what has become apparent is that AMC did something called variable pricing on it. Mm-hmm. They just tagged on an extra $1 because they were like, everyone's going to come see this. And they told everybody about it and it didn't matter. But I did some digging. Did you know that Regal and Regency also did it and didn't tell anybody and also did it for Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever the last one was, didn't tell anybody and nobody noticed.
I wouldn't have noticed. I don't think I would have noticed.
Yeah. Variable pricing. They've wanted to do this for forever, but everyone was like, no, you're going to start a revolt. But nope. Apparently Batman and Spider-Man is variable pricing free zone. Does that bother you at all? The idea of having certain movies just cost more because they say so?
Not in the least, because I think that the inverse may then also occur where certain movies will then start costing less. You don't have, I think it gives you the potential for movie studios and really movie theaters to help recoup some of their costs by charging more for a Batman. Because let's face it, it was Batman. They could have added an extra $15. I'm still paying to watch it because it's Batman. So they can get more money there, but then they can also, if they want to, cut back on regular dramas like what was it, that the Benedict Cumberbatch Year of the Dog, whatever it is, Power of the Dog, right? Yeah. So like that one, maybe you're not as willing to pay as much to see that in theater. So if that one is less, then it might bring more people into the theater experience to see it and not just wait for streaming. Because I think that the big blockbuster movies are a little bit, I don't want to say impervious, but basically impervious to the streaming problem because they're big and like in the movie theater, it's a vastly different experience. But if I'm watching a drama, watching a drama in the movie theater, watching drama on the screen, I'm not necessarily getting a wildly different experience. So I would not necessarily pay as much for it. But if that was a cheaper ticket, maybe it'd be a nice night out and I would do that or something like that. So I think that it's a good idea and probably something that, they definitely should have done a while ago and definitely should try to keep doing now to recoup some of the money that you're getting from these big blockbuster movies. Having the tentpoles be tentpoles.
Yeah.
Really.
Exactly.
Not just That's I like that outlook. That outlook makes me happy. I think I was just like, don't. But I didn't care because I didn't notice either. So it's like fake anger.
Exactly. Hey, it shouldn't be wildly different, but they should definitely be able to charge more. And also, they're going to need to because Warner Brothers also, as what are they delaying now? Flash and Aquaman too, because they basically DC has all these great characters, but they can't figure out how to make money with movies with them, which is still just baffling to me. Why Marvel keeps eating their lunch with this? Because DC has the better, bigger characters, but they still can't make money out of it. Whereas the MCU can.
Krissy's not too sure about your takedown of the.
Oh, she's sure. So let me hear about this, Krissy. I'll explain my argument this way. This is why I say they're the bigger, better characters. The bigger, better characters in that if you say we're going to make a movie about Wonder Woman, I don't have to explain to almost anybody who Wonder Woman is, right? You've lived under a rock if you didn't know who that was. But I guarantee you there were lots of people where they said, hey, we're going to make Ant-Man. People were like, who?
Yeah.
Right. Or even Iron Man. A lot of people will be like, who's Iron Man? You know what I mean? Yes, you know who Captain America is. Yes, you know who Thor is. We don't necessarily know who Iron Man is, Black Widow. I mean, Hulk, you know, from the television show. You know, and so these Avengers and Marvel characters are great and wonderful and interesting and very complex, amazing characters. But as far as the characters that are well known, if I say think of a superhero, household names, yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Aquaman, and to a lesser degree, The Flash are coming up on everybody's list. People know who that is. And so the fact that DC or Warner Brothers are failing so miserably at not being able to get these movies out to people to just basically collect brink trucks full of money is really kind of a sad state of affairs for them, and that they should really just try to hire everybody from Marvel Studios over so they can figure out how to fix this mess.
I agree with that part for sure. Yes. Fix the mess. I want to see those characters in a fun movie. And I'll give you my extra $1. Like those of us who are the types who will be at the movie the first week that it's out, you know, hell or high water, get our extra $1. I'll give it to you. Like take it, you know, and keep making those movies.
I'm not even going to watch the film. I'm just going to drop off $1.
Here's $1. Thank you for your service.
Yes. Is there anything else that people would like to bring up? Otherwise, we can slide into trailers. All right, cue the slide into trailers song. Krissy, go. Yeah, I don't know.
Trailers.
I'm loving it.
It sounds a little bit like a McDonald's commercial.
A little bit.
For
I
legal
got hungry.
reasons, it's not. Yeah.
Great. You added the word.
I believe I heard you did change one note, and therefore it is an original song.
That's right.
Yes.
I got in there first with the vaguest, weirdest trailer possible, and then I watched your trailers and got jealous because your trailers are a lot better than mine. But that's the Tommy Hansen promise. My trailer was, "You won't be alone."
Каждый čo zakopať. Ešte rojnami neťamošať.
I don't know why I made it a question. I picked this because for two reasons. Number one, it reminded me of The Witch or The Vivitch, which I desperately love. I think that movie is just magic, and I've owned it and I've watched it a zillion times. And also I like the fact that this movie, hold on, I wrote it down, is described as haunting, transcendent, and erotic, because that's also how I feel about myself. And so I'm very excited to see this movie. What did you guys think?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say those are the words: haunting and what were the other two? Exhausting.
Yeah, exhausting. Yes. Did I say erotic? I meant exhausting. That's how I describe myself.
It definitely had witch vibes. That's exactly what I would compare it to, which is like confusing, scary, hot,
right? A little bit there.
Shameful. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, it's folk. Well, I think they call it folk horror.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I was watching the trailer, I really thought of you a lot, Tommy, and said, "Hey, this is a movie that Tommy would really like." And so, yeah, that's I was like, "This is definitely in your wheelhouse." This looks like it was a horror movie that you'd have to read, which I like that. You're gonna class it up a bit, make it as a reader as well. But I found that for me, in my personal taste, I was like, well, I think I would enjoy watching Tommy watch this movie than watch it myself. So I'm really just going to wait for you to tell me all about the movie, and I feel that that'll be the more entertaining way for me personally to go about enjoying this. But yeah, it was definitely something that I understood. If you are a fan of horror movies, I think this is looks like a really good one. Yeah,
It's not your bag.
I'm a shill for big budget movies.
What if The Flash was in it?
If The Flash was in it, there would be a little bit somewhere, but then I'd be wondering why The Flash was fighting with the witch. Now, if you threw Batman in there, again.
You just want Batman to be in everything.
He makes every movie better. So, yeah. So, if you have Batman, The Flash, you know what? Or you could throw in some Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa would, give us some humorous moments.
Or this movie just costs less. Like, you go to the theater and expect to pay $10, and they're like, no, this one's $6. And you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Here's
I'm going to make up a game at some point where I'm going to come up with a list of movies that if Batman was in it, it wouldn't be better.
Okay.
And I'm going to challenge you.
Exist.
Number 1, on Golden Pond.
Absolutely. Someone has to come and, straighten out those wayward kids.
You did it. All right.
Yeah.
You don't know what a Golden Pond is?
I've never seen a Golden Pond.
Okay.
No idea what
I was going to follow up with the Milagro Beanfield War, but I will just keep moving on. Right. Ocean, you got in with your trailer second. Please take it away.
Yes. Okay. My trailer, the synopsis of this movie is a well-to-do husband who allows his wife to have affairs in order to avoid a divorce becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance of her lovers. This movie is entitled Deep Water.
That's good. Why is Mom so different around other people?
I think this is who she is.
You love me.
Of course.
You're not born.
No.
The fact that she's comfortable flaunting all these relationships around all of us, you're better than that.
She's different. That's what I like about her.
I just want to feel joy in my life.
You want to tell me why you didn't come home last night?
Not really.
This isn't a game, Melinda.
It's always been a game.
So when I saw this trailer, the first thing I saw in the trailer, I saw was Ben Affleck, and I like Ben Affleck. And so I was like, well, I already like, just seeing him in it alone drew my interest. And then so I'm talking to Ana de Armas, who was the only part of No Time to Die that I liked, because that James Bond movie was just bad in so many ways. But anyway, she was great. And so just seeing the two of them and then looking at the overall, kind of what the trailer does, how it teases you, not only, it really doesn't fully explain that synopsis, right? It just kind of teases you, gives you the premise of what's there without really spoiling the movie. So I thought it was a good trailer for that. It looked very interesting. And then when I looked up, I saw that this was being directed by Adrian Lin, who also directed Fatal Attraction, Indecent Proposal, Jacob's Ladder, and Unfaithful. So I'm not exactly sure what his theme is with all these type of movies, but this definitely looks like it would be one of his jams. And so I thought that those movies were interesting and of this type of, kind of a mystery. I don't know, some mystery, someone who done it, someone you're not really sure how it's going to go or end. And I thought that this looked like another entry potentially in something that would be entertaining and a movie that I could watch without hopefully figuring it out, 30 minutes in. So what did you guys think?
Krissy?
I thought it definitely had that sexy thriller vibe.
Yeah.
That was it was kind of everywhere in the 90s and the early aughts. And then we haven't seen anything really that the ones that you mentioned that he also directed that's oh, okay, that is synonymous with sexy thriller. Spurned person, what is the relationship status? I thought it was great. And, Ben Affleck really looks like sort of an everyday dude in the trailer. Of course, Ana de Armas is painfully beautiful.
Yeah, like an everyday dude who's, really good looking and big and that's a good looking man right there. Sorry.
But he can scruff up. He'll scruff up and put on an ill-fitting t-shirt, and you're just yeah, that's my friend Becky's dad.
I got to glam up to get to his scruff up. So,
I agree with Krissy, though.
Sorry,
He
go ahead.
does have that look where it's like, did you always just wake up? Like, he always seems a little bit like that. But Krissy, I couldn't agree with you more. The first thing that struck me was, oh, right, those kind of movies. They were all over the place. And then I guess Joe Esterhaas, was that his name? He was the one that wrote a bunch of those, like Fatal Attraction and stuff. He was famous for destroying the writer's market because he was getting like $5 million deals off of notes he wrote on a napkin, and then the bubble burst and everything fell apart. But no, it seems we are totally ready for that type of film again. And, you know, we got a little bit close maybe with something like Gone Girl, but David Fincher is so cold. I love David Fincher, but he's such a cold director that it didn't have that kind of feeling to it. So yeah, I'm all in for this. I think this looks great. So good pick.
And like comparing it to Gone Girl, where like both Ben Affleck as a sort of everyday guy, in that one he feels like, I mean, he's a great actor, but even in the previews for Gone Girl, you're like, that's a sleazy dude. And in the previews for this, you're kind of like, oh, I feel bad for him. He seems like a genuine guy,
right,
who's just like caught up in something,
right, who just seems to be watching his wife sleep with everyone. It seems very confusing. Yeah,
or he's not a genuine guy.
Oh boy, Gone boy. All right, and now Krissy coming in third. What you got for us?
The girl from Plainville.
Conrad's dead. Who's Conrad?
Michelle Cotter, 17-year-old girl. Texts her friends for 3 days telling them her boyfriend's missing, but this girl knew he wasn't missing. She was in contact with him the whole time. Right up until he killed himself. Just texts. Due respect. Those are messed up texts. I think she was telling him to do it. Encouraging him.
I keep finding things out about him. It's like I didn't even know him.
It means so much to see you all here for Conrad.
Strange that I'm so close to him and we never met.
What do you think dying is like?
Just like floating on water.
They've opened an investigation into your connection with the death of Conrad Roy.
But I didn't do anything wrong.
There are text messages, thousands of them.
Which is a Hulu series that's going to kick off in, I think March 29th.
Oh, right. We're supposed to do dates. You Won't Be Alone will come out at some point. So will Deepwater. Go ahead, Krissy.
At some point, yeah. And this one it's streaming. It's a series. I think the first 3 episodes come out on the 29th, and then it's like one a week after that. And it is based on a real true crime case that happened in real life and was like prosecuted in real life and just like was baffling to everybody. And so this is the, I guess, fictionalization of it. It stars Elle Fanning as a girl.
Oh, that's who that was. Right. Yeah. I knew I recognized her. Okay, go ahead.
Isn't she great? I love Elle Fanning. Like, I think she can do anything. She's cute, but also there's like a bit of power and menace under her. Like, I love her in The Great.
Yeah.
And it's the story of, like, the true crime story is that a girl seemingly texted a boy into killing himself, and then the
her
question
boyfriend,
is,
right?
Maybe her boyfriend,
sort of boyfriend,
yes. And you know, then the question is like, is she guilty of anything? What degree of responsibility does she have? Who else should have been maybe in this equation checking up on anything? And so it's probably going to be really like sad and dark.
Yep. She says with a smile. It's really going to be the You Won't Be Alone of Hulu series.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it has like, I don't know. It's hard to say because it is a real true crime case. But have you guys seen the thing about Pam, which is a Dateline series? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
I know of it.
The television show?
It is now a television show.
Yes.
But it's a fictionalized one with Renee Zellweger, but it was a podcast and it is a true crime story of like real life murders that happened. And so I watched a little bit of the Hulu series, and it's comical. Like they're playing it all for like a wink and a laugh. And so I'm concerned that this story is going to do a little bit of that because it is so bizarre what happened, but it worries me at the same time because this is like a real person who died.
Right. It didn't look like this was playing it for laughs. It looks like it was playing it for really like who is culpable, who is to blame and stuff, which is the real life case, is sadly fascinating. So I'm glad you put this on our list. Thank you for that. And
there's a documentary as well.
Okay.
We're on HBO.
Yes, no, I really enjoyed this trailer. I like I really like the idea, the premise of the story, and also it dovetails into things that when this came out, I don't know that I followed the news for this specific story, but there were things like this where when teenagers are committing suicide and then they're blaming it on other teenagers who are texting them and telling them to kill them, you should kill yourself and all those other things, and then then my kids come home from school and explain to me all these things that they had to be talked to about this topic when I was like, oh, okay, apparently this is happening in the real world. And so, so there's aspects of it where I find interesting because the question of, A, who is culpable, but also B, what it says about, and I'm curious about this, what it would say about suicide, right? In that, it is suicide, and that is kind of, it changes, hopefully the question they address in this too is like, well, what are we saying as a society about suicide? Are we saying that is potentially a normal reaction to verbal either attacks or verbal exchanges? Is that normal, or is it that if you're going to commit suicide, that it should be categorized as a much more horrible thing, that there must be more than just someone telling you, hey, you should do this? And so, and the way this is set up, it's and I like that it's a series and not a movie, because I think it'll give it more opportunity to breathe and basically be able to show things from different perspectives, because everyone's going to have a different perspective. The parents are going to be a wildly different perspective, and they're going to have time for that story to grow in this as well. So I actually look forward to watching it.
Excellent. We're all trailer champions. Moving on, do you guys want to try a game?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes,
okay, so this game is one that I wrote, so good luck, everybody. It's called Happy Endings, and we're going to do it Family Feud style, in that one of you is going to make it so you can't hear anything, and I'm going to quiz one of you. For 120 seconds. Oh, I should tell you what the game is. Okay, so here we go. What it is it's a list of 16. Why 16? We'll never know. I think I just got tired of looking them up. Of the final line or lines of movies. And they range from very obvious to probably thinkers. And so I want to do it with one of you, and we'll see how many you can get in, let's do 120 seconds. I could have said 2 minutes. And then the other one can stay on. The other person will come on, and you'll see who gets the most. And then if there are ones that neither of you can get, you guys can team up, and I'll give you more clues and stuff. Does that make sort of sense?
Absolutely.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. Okay, so let me first get a timer ready, because that's what I always forget to do. Who would like to go first?
Oh, ladies first.
All right. So
for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Ladies first.
So
absolutely.
Ocean.
So I'll just
put yourself in the booth. Yeah.
Okay.
The isolation booth.
I'll put myself in my own personal cone of silence.
Yes, and then just look for this will be the high sign.
Okay.
Isn't that clever?
Yes, it is. Or Fortress of Solitude.
No.
And everybody knows what that is, because Superman's a big kid. Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Okay, so do you understand the rules as they have been described?
Sure, and I'm excited to go first. I like to set a low bar and set other people up for success. So I'm excited for Ocean to be way better at this than me.
And if you want, you can always pass, and then I'll come back to ones.
Oh, okay.
If you're like, that has no possible chance that I will ever get that, just say pass, and then we can come back.
Valuable information.
All right, and they're really in no particular order, and I don't know. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, so I have to look at my sheet, so I can't look at you. Here we go.
Okay.
And begin. And like that, He's gone.
He's gone. The Usual Suspects?
Correct. Roads, where we're going, we won't need roads.
That is Back to the Future.
Correct. One thing about living in Santa Carla I could never stomach. All the damn vampires.
That is The Lost Boys.
Correct. I used to hate, this is two different people. I used to hate the water. Can't imagine why.
Jaws?
Correct. I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
Oh, I love that. That's Clue. One of my favorites.
Correct. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Babe.
Correct. I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus. Does anyone?
Stand By Me?
Oh, my God. Krissy, yes. Here's a tough one. I tell him of how I would want to die, but that the anguish and the want of death would fade like the stars at dawn, and that things would be much as they are now, perhaps. Except maybe I wouldn't have named our son Elvis.
Oh, no.
It's a big one, right?
I don't.
You want to pass on that one?
Yeah, pass.
I don't have to see it, Dottie. I lived it.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Excellent. You maniacs, you blew it up. Ah, damn you. God damn you all to hell.
Charlton Heston says it. It's apes. There's apes. It's a Planet of the Apes.
Correct. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part.
Oh my God, I know it. I know it 100%. Oh my God, I'm going to really kick myself. I agree with the second part. The world is worth fighting. I'm going to really kick myself when I find out what it is, but I can't think of it.
You want to pass? Okay. It seemed like us, and it seemed like, well, our home, where all parents are strong and wise and capable, and all children are happy and beloved. I don't know. Maybe it was Utah. And that is time, but I'll let you do that one if... Do you know it?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You did extremely well. Okay. So you can stay on.
Oh, okay.
Because you know things.
I know things now.
Because you know things. All right. Krissy has gone through the gauntlet, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So we can you guys can team up at the end if you want. Okay. Ocean, do you understand? Oh, and you're allowed to pass. So if you want to pass, we can go to the next one, then I'll come back. Ocean, are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Here we go. And go. And just like that, he's gone.
Usual Suspects.
Correct. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Back to the Future.
Correct. One thing about living in Santa Carla I could never stomach, all the damn vampires.
Was it the boys? Bad Boys? I don't know. Next, pass.
Okay. This is two different people. I used to hate the water. I can't imagine why.
Oh, Speed. 2. Cruise Control.
No. I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
That's the end of the Simpsons episode when they were doing it, Officer and Gentleman. All right, next.
All right. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Oh, Babe.
Correct. I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone?
Stand By Me?
Correct. This is a tough one. I tell him of how I would want to die, but that the anguish and the want of death would fade like the stars at dawn, and that things would be much as they are now, perhaps. Except maybe I wouldn't have named our son Elvis.
Ooh, pass.
Yeah. I don't have to see it, Dottie. I lived it.
Pass.
You maniacs, you blew it up. Oh, damn you. God damn you all to hell.
Planet of the Apes.
Correct. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part.
Oh my God, I know that movie. I know that movie. Oh, pass. Because I'm going to keep going, but I know that movie.
It seemed like us, and it seemed like, well, our home, where all parents are strong and wise and capable, and all children are happy and beloved. I don't know. Maybe it was Utah.
Pass.
Most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you. Not anymore. Game over.
Saw.
Correct. Oops, wrong thing. I'm an average nobody. Get to live the rest of my life like a schnook. That's time, but I'll give you that one. Do you know what that one is?
I'm at Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? No, I don't know.
Okay, so the final scores, and we'll go back and do the one. Krissy, you got how many? Do you remember?
9.
9. And Ocean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Krissy is our winner. Congratulations.
You gotta tell me what that one movie is, because me and Ocean were both like, I know it.
I will tell you.
The world is a fine place and worth fighting for. I agree with the second part.
Correct.
I can hear it.
The second part.
The very last sound that you hear is because it goes to black as soon as he says it, and there's a helicopter going off. Here, I'll do an impression. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part. Andy Dufresne is my friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's, but do you know what it is? It's not from Shawshank, but it's Morgan Freeman.
I agree with the second part.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it.
Is it Unforgiven? No, it's not Unforgiven.
Nope.
It's
Morgan Freeman. Do you want to know? Here's another line from it that's kind of hard.
7.
Exactly right.
It's 7.
Oh,
Exactly
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Did you want to do? Oh, do you want to? Maybe it was Utah. Do you guys want more from that?
Sure.
It seemed like us. It seemed like our home, where all parents are strong and wise and capable, and all children are happy and beloved. I don't know. Maybe it was Utah. It's a voiceover by the main actor, and you're in a flash forward where he and his wife and a whole bunch of children are sitting around.
It's not the spinny top movie, is it?
I don't know what that is. Oh, no, it is not.
Inception.
It is not Inception.
Okay.
It is a comedy by the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Raising Arizona?
Reading?
Raising Arizona, exactly right. Are there other ones?
Named Elvis, named our son Elvis.
Oh, right. Named ourselves Elvis. That's just a really hard one. I don't know why I thought that'd be appropriate. That was True Romance.
Okay.
And
I should have
then
known that one.
the last ones are I'm an average nobody, get to live my life, live the rest of my life like a schnook.
Is that Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk movie?
It is not. And if I go earlier, I'll say I can't even get decent food here. I ordered spaghetti and clam sauce, and they gave me ketchup and noodles or something.
Gangsters, and it's Ray Liotta, and
correct. Goodfellas. Correct. Last 2 that we didn't get to, but you guys can do them together. Maybe you could come over and read. Oh, this is 2 different people. Maybe you could come over and read it to me tomorrow, as you wish.
Oh, that's my favorite movie.
Is it really?
It is.
Saw
my very
2?
Favorite.
Just kidding.
Saw 2. Saw 2, Cruise Control.
Right. That's The Princess Bride. And then the last one, I'll Be Right Here.
Oh, God. That is my least favorite movie. I hate it.
Because it's too sad?
Because it scares it scares me.
Do you want to tell us what it is?
Wait, you know what that was?
Yeah, it's E.T., right?
It is E.T. Exactly right. I'll be right here. That E.T. was where I learned one of the first interesting things about how to film stuff as an erstwhile director, that when you meet the main guy, the main adult that isn't in his family, you meet him because of the keys on his, and like this, what Steven Spielberg did was he filmed everything from a kid's height. And I always thought that was so smart. That's a neat way to do it. Yeah.
It's a great movie. I hate E.T.
Wait, you hate the alien?
Why do you hate E.T.?
Because he is terrifying. He's got a telescoping bulbous head that like pulsates. No.
He's not a good-looking man. No. What if he was covered in fur? Would that have helped? Does fur help generally?
Yes.
Like an Ewok?
Yeah. I guess I was thinking like Alf, but yes, Ewoks too.
He was like an Ewok? Yeah. So and you didn't find it cute and touching when he's always like, home, and then with the Reese's peanut butter.
No, he turns white and dies.
Okay. I feel like you only watched like little snippets. And then the speaking spell? Okay. Real quick, if we can just listen to me talk for a second. Hey, everybody, if you're not yet a member but would like to become one, just head over to thenextreel.com/membership. The most it'll cost you is $5 a month. What? $5? That can't be right. It is. I just said it. Members get access to live streams as we record, early access to shows in your very own podcast feed, access to the super secret member channels in Discord, creepy, member bonus episodes, and even stickers. And if you're wondering what movies the next reel is going to be talking about in the coming weeks and months, you can also visit our HQ page on Letterboxd, where you will find a list of all the movies in the 2022 season. While you're there, Letterboxd is offering a discount. What? More money off to anyone listening to the next reel. Just use the code NEXTREEL, NEXTREEL, no spaces, at checkout, and you can upgrade your dumb Letterboxd account to Pro or Patron with a 20% off discount. This discount also works for renewals. Don't know why I called it dumb. All right, so we are sliding into home, and that means it is time for the Rob Cabasco Memorial List Challenge. And based on the last SatMat, what they gave us was best company to work for. So movies involving the best company to work for, no other information. So I think the field is wide open. So how do we decide who goes first? Oh, is it in trailer order? No, let's do it in trailer order. Let's do it in game order instead. Okay, it is trailer order. Okay, got it. In trailer order, yes. So then I'm going to go first, and I just took it straight up as like if I was to work at one of these companies, this is absolutely where I would. I like tricks, and I like pretending, and I like writing mysteries and all of those kind of things. And I love hiding cameras and clowns, and I love keys, and I love driving taxis off of wharfs. I would want to work more than anyone for Consumer Recreational Services, CRS, from the movie The Game. David Fincher's The Game, the company that terrorizes but then wakes up Michael Douglas. So instead of having a case of the jumpies, he wants to have a case of the Livies, whatever. So mine is The Game, CRS from The Game. Ocean, you're up next.
Awesome.
Great choice.
Well, when I agree with you that we, as is normal with these lists, we have no guidance. And so when I thought of this subject, I just decided to go with movies that describe the jobs that I wanted as a child.
Oh.
And at the time, thought those would be the best companies to work for. So let's start with what was my first and possibly last love. Last love because I would quit my job now to work for them, but that won't happen. So what was the first company that I ever wanted to work for as a young boy growing up in the South in Tennessee?
Oh,
the NFL. I tried for years. More years of my life than were reasonable to get there. But one day, shortly after graduating college, I saw the best movie I have ever seen, focusing on the players and coaches who work in the NFL, even though the league is made up, and that is Any Given Sunday.
Oh, I was thinking Friday Night Lights. Okay.
Friday Night Lights is high school. I could do high school football. It was professional.
Oh, it was? Oh, of course it was.
Yeah, professional. Yeah, no, there was, I was too small, too slow, too a lot of things.
Got it.
But yeah, so Any Given Sunday, great, wonderful movie about football, and it's not just the sport, it's about the business of it, and, kind of the interplay between the coaches and the players and the owners, and, and really kind of what is, to me, one of the best movie versions I've ever seen of anything dealing with life as a professional football player. Huh. So I probably watch it once every couple of years.
Really? Is that your favorite Oliver Stone film?
It probably is, although I did not think of it as if you would have asked me before, I would have said no, I like JFK or Platoon or something better. But you know what? No, I think I would watch Any Given Sunday over any of them. So yeah.
Great pick.
So yes, I guess it is. Thank you for letting me learn a little bit about myself today, Tom.
I'm here to serve. All right, Krissy, what you got? No steals so far.
No steals. Yeah, I took the same approach. What would I want? Where would I want to work? What is a dream scenario is where I started. And I could not think of a better place than where imagination is truly rewarded. Oh. Creativity and originality are the paramount, and you find the heart of gold in the most unlikely places. I'm talking about the place that has it all. They've got it all. They've got it all on UHF. And that is where
I haven't thought of that movie in so long. That's great.
Yeah. Weird Al is a hero of the people.
Wow.
And of course, his character in the movie is a hero. And what a place to work, where you're like, I have an idea, Wheel of Fish. I have an idea, the guy who throws turtles up and they stick on the ceiling. You have an idea, you try it, and if people like it, you succeed. And if they don't, you try something else. And I love that movie, and I would want to work for UHF.
I love it. That's a great pick. That makes me want to go back and watch it. Have you ever seen Weird Al in concert?
I have, and it is a tremendous experience. Both my kids, I took them for their very first concert ever to see Weird Al's Ill-Advised Vanity Tour.
That's the one that I saw. Yeah, where he just plays his originals, right? Yeah, I saw that too. That's so great. Maybe we were in the same one. Okay. Well, that's a heartwarming pick. So I'm not going to do what was going to be my second one because it's so dark. So instead, I'm going to pick something else. Oh, I have spent some time in the service industry, and I always thought being maybe like a concierge would be interesting. But if I was to be a concierge, I'd want to be in an interesting sort of infamous kind of hotel instead of just sort of like a Hampton Inn. And then maybe someone would come in and I'd have to like watch their dog for them while they go on a murder spree. I am talking about the Continental from the John Wick series. I want to work at that hotel because then there's like a whole room with just shotguns. That's amazing.
Oh, great pick. Great pick. I'm so mad that's not a steal because that's outstanding.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, Ocean.
Yeah, no, that was a great pick. And Lance Reddick was really cool in that movie. Being the concierge, that was great. All right.
He was a good dog. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so now we've covered what I wanted to do in elementary school. Moving on to later in my life, as I am graduating high school again in Tennessee, which didn't mean to brag. But, anyway, so as I'm moving on to high school and moving on to college, I realized I was too short, fat, and slow to play football at a high collegiate level. So one day in a theater, I'm contemplating what I would do with the rest of my life, and I watched an amazing movie that gave me a direction. Oh. This movie had so many things that were foreign to me growing up in Tennessee. First off, there was some bank robbery. Not something I expected to show me the path, but then there was so much more. There was playing football on a beach, which I liked. There was skydiving and surfing. Lots and lots of surfing. Now, you might think that I decided then and there to move from the South, come out to the West Coast and become a surfer. And I tell you, that did not happen. I wanted to work for the company and have the job of the movie star. I was no Bodie. I was Johnny Utah all the way. And as such, I decided to be an FBI agent.
Oh my God!
The movie is Point Break, which again is another movie I love. See it probably once every couple of years or so. Watch it over and over again. My wife and I actually quote it to each other all the time randomly. So yeah, it's a great movie.
A lot of running.
I'm so thrilled that you've both chosen Keanu Reeves because he's my favorite, and I'm ashamed that I have chosen nothing with him, and you have both chosen like some of his finest vehicles. So I'm just so happy to be here.
Once again, here to serve.
Yes, exactly. And only watch the original Point Break. We started to watch the remake. It hurt. That hurt a little bit.
Okay.
No. Just stay with the Keanu Reeves version.
What? Why go anywhere else when you could go someplace where Keanu Reeves is?
Exactly. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. I cannot believe I was blanking on his name.
Yep.
The Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze version with Gary Busey being Gary Busey.
Krissy, you are up.
Okay. So we've established I like cozy. I like small British villages. And if you had to choose a place to be a small business owner and entrepreneur, I would want to be in the village of Hogsmeade, and I would want to work at Honeydukes. So my choice is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
I'm notoriously not as familiar with that land. What is Honeydukes?
It is a candy store. It's just a really delightful candy store, and they have like a shoppable version of it in both the Orlando and
I've been in it then.
Yeah, and it's so cute. It's full of candy. It's full of like sugar and sweets and fun. And I think you would just be so happy every day selling candy.
Can I tell you a really quick story that I think I've told 900 times on this podcast, but I'll make it really quick just in case. I love Universal Studios Hollywood. And even though I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, I love that world and going and walking through. Yeah. The wand store, where they just have the bookcases with all the wands sort of stacked up.
Ollivanders?
I'll take it. I was in there just sort of looking around, and I saw someone that worked there, and what she was doing, all of the wands had been like pushed against the wall. She was arranging them so they looked less symmetrical. They were sort of sticking, and I went up and asked her, I was like, is that your job to make it look more like haphazard? And she's like, yeah, because if they are all like lined up, then it doesn't look as cool. I just think what an interesting aesthetic to make it messy, and that's what makes it work. I like that. I'm trying to make that into some sort of a metaphor for my life because of my apartment. Anyways, great pick, Honeydukes. What is another, if you had to pick the second store or tavern, what would it be?
The Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, which is a joke shop that's eventually, that's in Diagon Alley, so it's slightly different. I would want to live in Hogsmeade.
Understandable. Okay. Then it's my turn, and my number one, let's see, do I want to go cute or do I want to go dark? You pick.
Go dark.
Go dark?
Mine's dark.
Go dark.
All right, so I'll go dark.
We're all going dark.
As I said before, like with CRS, I like games and I like puzzles, and I personally like, in real life, I like escape rooms. Unfortunately, these escape rooms kill you. Oh, well, I would work, and I think I would. I would design all the stuff and then leave. I'd severance myself before it got to the point where they actually die. But I would work for Minos, the Minos Corporation, in the weirdly beloved by me 2 movies, The Escape Room and The Escape Room Tournament of Champions, which I have an unconditional love for, and they are straight up not good. And I love them so much. That's my Any Given Sunday. So the Minos Corporation from Escape Room. What? No steals? No, of course not.
I thought you almost had mine. I'm
the only person that has seen those movies. So, but at least I saw them in the theater. Oh, so alone. All right.
Yeah.
Minos Escape Room. Okay.
I saw the first one. I liked it.
Did you?
I just haven't seen the second one yet. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it.
The second one is pretty dope.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Ocean. Oh, so you said I was close to yours, Krissy. Now I'm excited. Okay.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I am last. Okay. So moving on into the... let's just say it's the growth,
the salad years. Yep.
of Ocean. Yes. Now that I am an adult, one lesson that I have learned is that if you really want to make money, you should work in the money business. I like math and I love Excel. I'll make a spreadsheet for anything. and as I get older, I can question some of my moral and ethical leanings. And this led me to think that I would love to work for Gecko and Company.
Oh, nice.
A place where greed is good, and I can find out how poor I am now by making a little money. And then the movie is Wall Street.
Nice. That's great. Did you ever see the Money Never Sleeps? I never saw the sequel.
Absolutely not. You don't want to touch it. It was one of those things of where I saw Wall Street. I love Wall Street. And I didn't even realize I picked 2 Oliver Stone movies. I should have picked the third now that I think about it. I really enjoyed Wall Street. And I like kind of what the premise was, what they set it up. I mean, the bad guys don't quite win in the end, which, I'm a big fan of bad guys winning in the end. I just thought it was a really well done movie. And then the first time I saw the trailer for Money Never Sleeps, I said, this is going to potentially wreck what I already think is great. So I just said, I'm just going to skip that.
Sure.
And, if everyone says it's really super amazing, then I'll check it out. But nobody said that. No. So I'm good.
Yep. The money went right to sleep. Okay. Yeah. Excellent picks. And now, Krissy.
Yeah. My third choice was the first thing I thought of, ironically, when I was like, not ironically, but I was like, no, you should think of something that would be happy where you'd want to go. But I would be happy, I feel, and I would want to work at a place where you know the hidden secrets behind everything.
Ooh, yep.
And you get to like play in the lore and the archetypes and know what role everything is. So I would want to work for the facility in the cabin in the woods.
Oh, wow. Outstanding pick.
Yeah. For sometimes you're just riding around on a little cart with Bradley Whitford. Then sometimes you're like, I really like the job of like everybody who works there gets to get in on the bets of like who's going to get chosen this time. But I think there are probably plenty of fun, low key, low impact jobs around there that would be great to have.
Tequila is My Lady. I love that movie, and I will go and just watch the last 15 minutes every once in a while. Not that I don't like the first part, but the first part is so brutal that is great. That you didn't steal from me, but I'm going to give you credit for a steal because I love it so much. So I'm completely breaking the rules, and I don't know how this whole spreadsheet works anyways. Ocean, you should be on it. Excellent work, you guys. We really listed the heck out of each other. Now, speaking of lists, we should come up with the list for next week.
Well, I guess before we do that, though, did you have any backup options? Because I had zero.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You do have one?
I do, yeah.
Go for it.
Well, in the interest of being a small business owner, but someone who's also like low key into mystery solving, I would want to possibly work in the world of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
So you're a pet detective and Ocean is in the FBI. Yeah. Are you guys ever going to have a crossover?
Yeah. We'll argue about jurisdiction first.
Yeah.
My two backups were I want to be on the team of Ocean's 11 because I desperately want Rusty to like me, and then I want to be on the team of Now You See Me's. I don't know what they're called, but all the magicians and making things fly around and stuff. I want to be the guy that throws cards, and everyone's like, "Wow,
yeah." Did you see those cards? Yeah. He threw them.
They were in his hand, and now they're over there because everyone's just like so amazed by cards. Okay, excellent. So yeah, do we have any ideas of what we should punish next week's people with? What have we talked about? We talked about warring superheroes. We talked about mysteries.
We did.
Yes, we. I need to look to see who is next week. Oh, it's Kyle. Oh, and Krissy.
Oh, Krissy, you're picking for yourself.
Well, so maybe I won't pick. So you guys pick.
She has to be sequestered.
Yeah.
She can't put her thumb on the scale. Because then she'll be like, well, I can think of 5 movies with this list. I'm good.
Movies about cozy British mystery solving.
So what about least cozy places? What if we hit them with the opposite?
Least cozy places. Well,
or most uncomfortable places.
Most comfortable places. Well,
we already named Cabin in the Room, Cabin in the Woods, and Escape Room.
We could do movies with split personalities.
Oh.
Or because
where did that come from?
You could do with Severance, where you have basically a Severance. You've been given split personalities. You have 2 different personalities or 2 different things or something where there's 2 of them.
I love it.
So like something with 2 of, that are either unaware of each other or vastly different from each other. And, you can't use Two-Face. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's say split personalities. I love that.
Do you want to say movies with split personalities?
Yeah,
Does it have to be like a clinically diagnosable multiple personality disorder or just like you have one face you show the world?
I would keep it open.
I keep it open. Also, I'd argue if you say movies with split personalities, you can decide if it's the movie or the person or a character or an idea. Like if you say movies with split personalities, it kind of leaves you open to decide what is the split personality.
Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Interesting.
I love it.
Or whatever. You could do something like this.
So I wrote in movies with split personalities per in the movie or a character. Does that work? I love that idea.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I don't have any ideas, and so
perfect. That's right where we want you.
Kyle and Mandy, she's just saying that now. I see her list. She has like 8 movies already queued up and ready to go. Yeah. You guys have no chance at winning this game.
Would you like to? We're signing off. So, Krissy, do you have any upcoming shows or things other than
the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast is a podcast where myself, a comedian, and my filmmaker co-host Nathan Blackwell of Squishy Studios talk about the 80s movies we love or might have missed to see if we feel like they hold up. We just did Conan the Barbarian.
Ooh, okay.
And Labyrinth, and we don't have a theme or anything for our next upcoming pick, so we'll see.
I love it. I've never seen Labyrinth. Is that like a crime? Ooh, apparently by your face, that is a crime.
Yes.
That is apparently a war crime. Okay, good.
Oh, yes.
Ocean, how about you?
Well, coming up next month for the film board, assuming that the movie does not get moved, because movies get moved a lot, we are going to be discussing Morbius.
Oh, that's right. And because it keeps getting moved. That's right. I remember talking about that.
Yes, it keeps getting moved. Yes, I have announced it now 3 times that we're going to discuss this movie, and it keeps getting moved. So maybe it'll get moved again, and we can just continually chase it. Like, we're going to have a show one day.
That's fun.
So maybe in April of 2024, we will discuss Morbius, and between now and then, we'll discuss something else.
And for me, Uncle Pete and I will be back with What's That Smell? A sometimes funny podcast about humans and their anxieties at some point. I promised that I was going to write a trailer for next season, and that was weeks ago. So I have been busy. So either way, I will get on that. And thank you guys so much. Krissy, it is an absolute pleasure to meet you. You are a delight.
Yay!
Ocean, better luck next time. All right, guys. Just kidding. Thank you, everybody. You have been Satmatted. I really got to come up with a closing.
That's awesome. That's better than anything.
You've been Satmatted.
I'm going to say that at the end of every podcast I'm on.